Okay, everyone. Thanks for your patience, and thanks to everyone for getting here on time for part one of the Supervisor Orientation Training, which is about the AHOC VISTA program overview. My name is Janelle McCoy, and I'm one of the Associate Directors here at Hunger Free America. Also joining me and presenting on this call today is Kim Judy, who is with the Corporation for National and Community Service, or CNCS for short. She is the New York State Program Officer who oversees our program. And I'd like to once again thank you for joining us today and for partnering with us with the AHOC program. And also thank you so much for attending this part one of the series and for hopefully viewing the other trainings that I'll be sending out as recordings. All right, so let's get started. Today, during part one of our Supervisor Orientation series, we're going to be talking about the Anti-Hunger and Opportunity Corps program, and we'll be discussing and providing an overview of the project and talking a little bit about the structures and goals of the project. We're also going to talk about communication and support for the AHOC program. The purpose of today's training is just to give you that overview and structure of the program. Hunger Free America does not expect you, the sub-site supervisors, to be experts on the Anti-Hunger and Opportunity program, but we do expect for you to do the best of your ability to understand the major components of the Anti-Hunger and Opportunity program, as well as the VISTA program. So I just wanted to show you all a few important terms that we'll be mentioning a few times today. So I'll give you all about 20 to 30 seconds to just view these.
Do you want me to read them to you? Corporation for National and Community Service. Well, oh, okay. So I won't then.
The conference has been muted. The conference has been unmuted.
Yeah, so it's actually an area of town where there's a ton of gas stations, but there's not a ton of, well, there's...
Okay. Hopefully you all had a chance to read all of those acronyms. And also, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the training that I will be sending out a recording, and I'll also send out the PDFs of all the slides. So you don't really have to take too many notes on things that are in the slides, but if you are interested in taking down any of the supplementary information, please feel free to do that. All right, so let's get to AHOC VISTA. Sorry, the slides. Let's get to AHOC VISTA structure goals. So before we talk about AHOC, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Hunger Free America, which is where I work. As you may or may not know, HFA is the intermediary project sponsor for the Anti-Hunger and Opportunity Corps program. We will talk a little bit more about what that means in a few slides, but we do want to just give you a brief overview of who we are and what we do, considering that we will be partnering with each other over the next year. So the HFA mission is that it's a national nonprofit group building a nonpartisan grassroots membership movement to enact the policies and programs needed to end domestic hunger and to ensure that all Americans have sufficient access to nutritious food. A lot of you are returning partners, so you might know us by our former name, which is the New York City Coalition Against Hunger, which was founded in 1983. But we actually expanded nationally early last year and changed our name to Hunger Free America. But our initiatives have pretty much remained the same. They include advocating and researching anti-hunger policies, increasing access to food benefits, the National Hunger Line, assisting soup kitchens and food pantries, and of course the National VISTA program, which AHOC is a part of. And as you know, the Anti-Hunger and Opportunity Corps program is an AmeriCorps VISTA project. So we do want to touch a little bit about the mission of AmeriCorps VISTA and what the VISTAs do. So Kim Judy is on the line right now. She's a representative from CNCS, and she said that she'd like to share some information about AmeriCorps VISTA.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Janelle, for setting this up. And thank you all to those of you who are on the line and for those of you who are listening later to the recorded webinar. I, as a program officer and former VISTA member, that you put into managing, supervising, and coaching all of our VISTA members. As I'm sure you're all aware, participating in a year of service can be a transformational experience for our members. And I'm aware that many of you are supervising VISTAs in addition to your regular 9-to-5 job, and that this could be another duty as assigned. So we do appreciate the time and energy and commitment you do put into supervising our VISTAs. For those of you who aren't familiar with our program or want a refresher, the mission of AmeriCorps VISTA is to build the capacity of nonprofit organizations and communities with the end goal of bringing individuals and communities out of poverty. In aiming to end poverty, we look to empower communities by engaging the beneficiaries and residents of low-income communities in the planning, development, and implementation of the project. We always want our VISTA members focused on building capacity. VISTA members are stationed with you to help strengthen, expand, and increase the reach of your organization and programs as they work in coordination with you and other staff at your organizations and perhaps volunteers and community members. And then finally, creating sustainable solutions. Alongside of building capacity for organizations, we want to make sure that any capacity built lives long after the VISTAs are gone. So all of your VISTA members should be focused on, and you should help remind them that they should be focused on, and supporting them as they develop systems, relationships, and knowledge throughout their year, and always with the mindset of transferring those systems, relationships, and knowledge onto the organization and the community to sustain over the long term. Creating sustainable solutions is really one of the, is probably the strongest underpinning of the AmeriCorps VISTA program. We want organizations to benefit from our VISTAs activities long after the VISTAs have served with you. We can go on to the next slide, Janelle.
All right, thanks so much for your input, Kim. So now let's get into the staff slide. So as you may or may not know, we do have staff at Hunger Free America who are dedicated to solely managing this AmeriCorps VISTA project. And there are currently 3 full-time staff. Not included in the staff members that work solely with this program is our CEO, Joel Burke. He manages all of us staff on the AHOC team, and he makes sure that the program runs smoothly by providing kind of administrative support and guidance on the program and where it's going. You as a sub-site supervisor will have the opportunity to see Joel throughout the year, as he does like to conduct site visits, and he definitely likes to engage with the AmeriCorps VISTA members in our project. He is very involved with our program. Joel is also available as a resource for you and your site. He's a nationally known speaker, so if you'd ever like to have him do any events for you and your organization, kindly let us know. And he's more than willing. Sorry, one second. He's more than willing to do that. So if you are interested in having him come do site visits, you can definitely reach out to me, and I can try to connect you. Then comes Vicky Dumboya, who's the program director, and she's been with the AHOC program for the last 3.5 years. Before becoming the AHOC program director, she actually worked as the associate director of recruitment. She's based at our New York City office, and she oversees Libby and myself, and she's also working to manage our relationship between CNCS and USDA FNS. She handles all of our grants and reports. And she, sorry, if you're calling in, can you please mute your Wi-Fi plus pressing *6? Okay, sorry about that. She handles all of our reports, and she of course steps in when necessary, handling situations with our VISTA members and with our partners. Next comes the associate directors. There's Elizabeth, or as she prefers, Libby McClayton, and myself, Janelle McCoy. We are also looking to hire a third associate director who will be in charge of trainings for our members. So Libby will be assisting you with all recruitment, and she's already given you recruitment deadlines. I just wanted to add in that she's going to be giving the recruitment training shortly after this training today at 3:30 p.m., also via ReadyTalk. And lastly, I am the Associate Director of Collaborations, and I manage the partnerships with U.S. subsites, and I'm a liaison between you, your member, CNCS, and HFA. And I'm just working with you all to just make sure that everybody has a successful year of VISTA service. So for U.S. subsites, I'll most likely be your main point of contact. So if you have any questions or support needs during the year, please feel free to reach out to me. And if I'm not the right person to help, I can make sure to connect you with the right person. And I also wanted to note that Vicki and I also do site visits, so you'll probably get the opportunity to meet us as well during the VISTA year. And on this staff slide, I also included our CNCS program director, Kim Judy, and she helps a lot with the program. So I just wanted to give her a chance to speak about how she's involved with the AHOC program.
Thanks, Janelle. So in addition to Janelle and the rest of the team at Hunger Free America, the Anti-Hunger and Opportunity Corps, AmeriCorps Vista project, has the support of my office. I am one of the Corporation for National and Community Services field office. We are based in Albany, New York. And while the majority of the portfolio in our office is focused on New York, we do have some projects that are multi-state or national in scope, such as the Hunger Free America project. So while your members are serving all over the country, all of those actions and any support does come out of my office here in Albany, New York. In our office, we have 5 program officers, including me, and our New York State Director, Jessica Vasquez. And our role here is to help develop, manage, and monitor AmeriCorps Vista programs. I support Janelle and the rest of the team in the supervision of the VISTAs in terms of intervening in emergencies or difficult situations. I also work to ensure that Janelle, Vicki, Libby, and anyone else have been connected to the right resources to meet their needs as they execute the program, both in supporting you as sites and supporting the leaders and members. Additionally, if if needed, I can set up technology for you all. If Janelle needed me to set up this conference line, I could do that as well. So there is a technical component as well. But that is our role here in the New York State office. Thanks, Janelle.
Great. Thanks again, Kim. So you kind of already spoke to this slide, so I'll just move on to the next one. Kim, would you like to speak and give a little bit more information about CNCS?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
And do we have? I believe we have a slide for that. Do we not? Yes,
I think
that was the one I was thinking of. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
So both Janelle and I have referred to the Corporation for National and Community Service. We are a small, independent federal agency, and our mission is to improve lives, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement through service and volunteerism. AmeriCorps VISTA is one of 3 AmeriCorps programs that are managed by our agency. AmeriCorps NCCC is a year-long residential program for 18 to 24-year-olds that focuses on team-based direct service. They also have a FEMA Corps component that is part of NCCC, which focuses on disaster preparedness and response. And then there's also AmeriCorps state and national grant projects that focus on direct service through a wide range of project types. Those members commit to completing a certain number of hours, whereas AmeriCorps VISTA members serve 365 days a year for 1 year without regard to meeting a certain threshold for hours served. AmeriCorps VISTA is unique in that we are focused solely on anti-poverty efforts, and as I noted earlier, we are looking to build the capacity in both the community and in the sponsoring organization. We also run other programs, both Senior Corps and our social innovation matching grants. And then where you fit in, so you can see on this chart that I'm here in the state office, and I work with Janelle and her team at the sponsoring organization, Hunger Free America. We refer to them as our intermediary. And then so we award, for lack of a better term, a certain number of VISTAs each year, and then those VISTAs are deployed to you at what we call the sub-site level, and you are what we call sub-site supervisors, with VISTA members reporting to you on a day-to-day basis. Thanks, Joe.
All right, great. Thanks so much. So now we're going to talk a little bit about funding. Kim, did you want to speak on this slide too, or would you like for me to do it?
Yeah, I'll speak a little bit about funding here. So the funding for the AHOC program, from my perspective, comes primarily from the Corporation for National and Community Service in partnership with the USDA Food and Nutrition Service. We have partnered with the USDA to get a significant amount of funding to fund the individual VISTA members themselves, so their living allowance and associated benefits, and some additional support funds to support staffing and member VISTA leader and sponsor travel as they monitor sites. And then in addition, the Hunger Free America has secured some additional private funds to supplement the program, and I'll allow Janelle to talk a little bit about that and highlight the private funds that Hunger Free America has secured.
Thanks again, Kim. So Kim mentioned that we do have some private funding. We actually do have funding from the Walmart Foundation, and they've given us funding to cover our in-person conferences that we have for the members. Actually, last year was the first time that we had regional conferences. So that's when we take different members in a certain region and meet for a few days to get them started with the program. We also do have mid-year conferences, which usually take place in January. And then coming up for year 6, we have the end-of-year conference, which year 7 members hopefully will also be having. And some of that funding from Walmart is also used towards travel for those conferences and also for site visits and other things like that. I think, Kim, you already covered this slide, but just to give a closer look to everyone, as Kim mentioned, we're the intermediary organization, and then we work with your sites, which are the VISTA subsites, and then you all are the subsite supervisors. So this is just a zoomed in shot. All right, so now let's get in a little bit into the AHOC program overview. So AHOC came into fruition in about 2010, and we exist because HFA, or NICA back then, felt that there was a need to have a nationwide volunteer program focused specifically on educating individuals and decreasing barriers to USDA FNS programs. This was already built into NICA's mission of moving society beyond the soup kitchen, so we felt that partnering with CNCS was really the best way to implement this nationwide project. And the AHOC program officially started in 2010, and with you all, we're now entering into our 7th year of the program. This year, we'll have approximately 55 year-long members serving in the project, with about 4 VISTA leaders and at about 40 different partner organizations in approximately 20 states. So we're very excited about this year's AHOC project. So what is AHOC? I'm sure you read about the AHOC program when you applied in using the RFPs, but I just wanted to revisit that statement of need. So the statement of needs on the screen, and let me just read it out for everyone. The National Anti-Hunger and Opportunity Corps will continue to fight hunger and improve nutrition, primarily by educating individuals and improving access to SNAP and other USDA FNS programs, thereby expanding economic opportunity and ensuring healthy futures for Americans living in rural, suburban, and urban areas all across the country. Additionally, the AHOC program will work to further integrate employment and training opportunities to build self-sufficiency of low-income people so that they are both no longer hungry nor in need of assistance. So as you can see in the Statement of Need, we have a strong emphasis on SNAP and the SNAP Employment and Training Program. That is because it goes back to the unique funding structure that Kim mentioned earlier, and how we're funded by CNCS and USDA FNS. And there are certain initiatives that USDA FNS would like us to focus on, so that's really what we highlighted in a lot of our materials. The SNAP Employment and Training Program and focusing on SNAP is a major part of our funding from USDA FNS, so it's really important that the majority of our members are working on either SNAP or other USDA FNS programs, as well as the SNAP Employment and Training Program. With a focus on SNAP and SNAP Employment and Training, we also understand that there are other scopes of work within the Statement of Need, which we have outlined in what a VISTA assignment descriptions or VADs. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about communications and support. So just some points on communications. Now as a sub-site supervisor, we do ask that you reach out to me, the Director of Collaborations, if there are any issues or if you have questions about the VISTA program. Of course, if you are reaching out about something to do with recruitment, you should definitely reach out to Libby, who I mentioned earlier, and her contact information is on one of the earlier slides. So As the Associate Director of Collaborations, I work with you, the site supervisor, to help manage and support the partnership. CNCS, the New York State Office, and Kim Judy supports us in all aspects of the AHOC program. And just a note, subsites shouldn't contact CNCS state office directly unless they believe HFA to be in violation of any CNCS regulations. And also, AHOC members do have VISTA leaders to mentor and support them. So I just wanted to share a little bit of information about the VISTA leaders so that you know that your VISTA members also have them as a resource during their year. All right, so we do have VISTA leaders that serve with our project. They're only here for a year, and they are either returning AmeriCorps or Peace Corps volunteers who wanted to do an additional year to learn a little bit more about program administration or implementation. So they come into the AHOC project to help provide administrative and programmatic support. They mentor VISTA members within the program. They coordinate, facilitate, and support the efforts of our VISTA members. It's important to note, though, that the leaders are not supervisors, but they are mentors. The supervisors of the AHOC program are really Vicky and myself. We assign each of our VISTA members to a leader, and we try to keep that member assigned to the same leader throughout their 365-day term. However, logistically, this can be a little bit difficult, depending on when we're able to hire the leaders or when we're able to get the leaders started with our program. That being said, we do encourage and tell all of our VISTA members to reach out to their VISTA leader during their year of service. Their VISTA leader is expected to check in with the VISTA member at least 4 times during the VISTA year. The leaders will also provide guidance and support and communicate a lot of our policies and procedures, and just make sure that the AHOC VISTA member knows that they're part of a much bigger AHOC program, and that all of the members in our program are working on the same initiatives, like we reviewed in the Statement of Need. The VISTA leaders are also responsible for leading biweekly group calls with the cohort of members that they lead. Those calls are used to build cohesion between their members and give them an opportunity to share best practices and to troubleshoot and work out solutions. The leaders provide regular trainings to their members based on their needs. They also administer a survey early on to find out what those needs are. And so let's just move on to the AHOC goals. You all filled out an RFP to be able to be granted a member or a couple of members for year 7. So all of these goals are actually listed in the order that they were in the RFP. So most of you should be familiar with at least 1 or 2 of them, if not all. So I'm not going to read those out, but just to give you all an idea of what each of those goals refers to. Number 1 is about benefits access plans. Number 2 is about volunteer sustainability. Number 3 is about SNAP E&T. Number 4 is about farmers markets. And number 5 is about nutrition education. So a little bit more about the AHOC goals. I just wanted to give you a background about where these goals come from. So the goal language and the 5 goals come directly from HFA's project application with CNCS. So that's how we've seen that statement of need and broken them down into tangible goals of project so that our partner could work on a variety of different programs to suit their community needs. All members within our project must work on at least one or a combination of the aforementioned goals, and all of the work that they do must be reaching in some way towards the overarching goals of project. If they aren't doing those things, and the member and the site are in violation of the program because they won't be working on initiatives that were approved by CNCS. Now I just wanted to note that each of these goals that we just reviewed has a subset, and we call those objectives. And each objective has its own performance measures. So we've gone through and we've broken down each of those goals into objective assignments, and you'll follow that information on the assignment descriptions and supplemental matrices. And I sent those out to you all a couple of weeks ago, and I also sent out the training on ads, SMs, and OSs earlier this week. So all the information that you'll need on those will be in that training. But I just wanted to provide a little bit of an overview on how the goals are assigned using the VADs and SMs. The documents that the VADs and SMs, they actually outline the work that the members are going to complete during their year of service, and the performance measures show the numerical progress that the member is going to be making during their service year. So I just wanted to get a little bit into what AHOC members do or have done in the past. This is just a brief overview. So they can do a number of tasks such as those that are listed on the screen. So they can develop awareness materials for FNS programs. They can draft the community assessments, evaluating needs of the community and partners in addressing food access and employment and training barriers, and then develop an assessment and trainings and systems to help improve access. They can establish your continued food planning association. They can recruit and train community volunteers to conduct SNAP applications and pre-screening assistance. They can work with farmers markets to accept EBT machines, and they can create nutrition education programs. Again, this is just a broad overview of what they can do. If you view the VAD training, it will definitely give you more specifics on each VAD goal, and it breaks down possible member activities that they can work on during their year of service. All right, so we're getting towards the end of the training now. So I just wanted to highlight a few major takeaways that you should have gotten during this training. So HFA is the intermediary project sponsor, and in conjunction with CNCS, the New York State office, administer the AHOC program. AHOC VISTers must work on one or a combination of AHOC's 5 program goals. Once the goals are assigned, it's a contract between the site and HFA. However, I just wanted to add a little side note on that. We do understand that there may be some changes during the year, and you'd like to edit the VISTA assignment description and SMs. If that happens to you during the year, please feel free to reach out to me, and we can try to figure out what we can change in the VAD. And then, of course, once we do that, I'll submit to Kim Judy to see if they'll be approved. So the earlier you let us know, the easier it will be to get those VADs updated. And AHOC is jointly funded by CNCS, USDA, FNS, and the Walmart Foundation. And AHOC staff are here to support all sub-sites in the AHOC program. And HFA/NICA, that's just the old name, has managed the program for 6 years. And I just wanted to add a little side note of that. Since we've been managing it for 6 years and entering into our 7th year, it's important to note that we do not know how long we'll be able to continue to fund the AHOC program. So it's definitely important that the VISTA work towards building sustainable resources for your organization along with capacity building. Now, I'd like to thank you all for joining today, and I'd like to thank Kim again for her assistance with this presentation. But we can take a few minutes now for anyone to ask questions if you have any. So if you're on a phone and you muted your line and you'd like to ask a question, you can press *7, or so anyone can speak up if they have any questions, and we can try to get those answered now.
I have a question. Starry Kruger,
Hi,
Rural
Starry.
Development Leadership Network. Hi. Since we have somebody on from the overall VISTA program, I wanted to ask why it's no longer allowed for the VISTA members to help with fundraising, fund development.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Starry. So as I noted earlier in the presentation, the funding for the AHOC program comes specifically from the USDA Food and Nutrition Service. Their regulations, their federal regulations that are stipulated by Congress, or that are regulated by Congress rather, stipulate that funds that come out of the Food and Nutrition Service budget cannot be used for fundraising purposes. Your VISTA members are paid through the Food and Nutrition Service budget, therefore they cannot fundraise.
Okay. But you were urging them to become self-sufficient, so I just thought I'd raise it.
Well, there are other opportunities for VISTAs to build capacity within an organization and create sustainability over the long time. It could be through volunteer generation, developing volunteer programs, creating a volunteer training curriculum. It could be setting up processes for data entry into your database. It could be establishing new databases, that sort of thing. Technology enhancements, media campaigns, that sort of thing. Those can all be legacy documents beyond fundraising. And yes, capacity building and sustainability are the core tenets of the AmeriCorps VISTA program, and our VISTAs in other programs do fundraise and do participate in grant making activities. It's only that the AHOC VISTAs are funded through the Food and Nutrition Service, and their regulations stipulate that they may not fundraise. So this is unique to the AHOC program.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, I guess since no one has any questions,
should I come see you?
Please feel free.
Wait, it might be done.
Sorry.
You sure?
Okay. So if anyone has any questions, you can please feel free to reach out to me, and I can definitely try to get those questions answered. I'd like to once again thank all of you for joining the call, and thanks again to Kim Judy from the CNCS New York State office for helping to lead this presentation. I'll stay on the line a little bit longer in case anyone has any questions they'd like to ask.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Janelle, it's Kim. It sounds like that might be it, so I'm going to sign off.
All right. Thanks again, Kim.
No problem. Great job.
Thanks. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.